Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the life you've always dreamed of, success, clarity, freedom, is just 60 minutes away? Not tomorrow, not next week, but every single day, you have the power to transform your future with just 1 hour of focused, intentional action. 60 minutes, that's all it takes to build habits, skills, and confidence that compound into extraordinary results. Today, I'm going to show you how one small, daily choice can completely change the trajectory of your life, and why waiting any longer is the biggest risk you can take. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment what could happen if you took just 1 hour every single day, not tomorrow, not next week, but today, to invest in yourself. 60 minutes may seem insignificant in the grand scheme of a 24-hour day, but when you look closer, 60 minutes is 60 minutes more than most people dedicate to their own growth. It is 60 minutes of intentional action, 60 minutes where you choose to shape your life rather than letting life shape you. That is the difference between existing and thriving. Here's the thing about transformation: it doesn't happen in massive leaps. Transformation happens in the small, consistent choices we make over time, and 60 minutes daily is enough to start a ripple effect that touches every corner of your life. In those 60 minutes, you can learn a skill, reflect on your purpose, organize your priorities, or simply plan the next steps toward your goals. It's in this time, this brief window of deliberate focus, that you start to plant seeds for a future that looks different, better, and aligned with who you truly want to be. Many people underestimate the power of small investments in themselves. They look at monumental success and assume it requires monumental effort. But the truth is, the people you admire, the leaders you respect, they weren't born extraordinary. They made extraordinary choices every day in the small, quiet moments no one else sees. They understood that progress is not about a single act of heroism. It's about showing up consistently, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unseen. Think about what 60 minutes can do. You could read a book that expands your mind and gives you insights you wouldn't get anywhere else. You could work on a passion project that inches you closer to mastery. You could write down your goals and map the steps to reach them with clarity. You could connect with a mentor, learn from someone who has walked the path before you, and apply those lessons directly to your life. 60 minutes is not just time, it's leverage. And when leveraged daily, it compounds into momentum that propels you forward faster than sporadic bursts of effort ever could. The question isn't whether you have time. You do. The question is whether you value your future enough to dedicate it to something meaningful. Most people spend an hour every day scrolling, consuming, or distracting themselves, and that's okay if they're content with their current trajectory. But if you're listening to this, if something inside you is stirring, it's because you want more, you want growth, you want impact, you want a life that feels intentional, and 60 minutes daily is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not about perfection, and it's not about overwhelming yourself. It's about commitment. 60 minutes is not a luxury, it's a necessity if you aspire to lead, create, and transform your life. The world rewards those who choose to invest in themselves consistently, and it rarely rewards those who wait for the right moment. That moment is now. That 60-minute block is now. Every time you choose to show up, you send a message to yourself and the universe. You matter, your growth matters, your future matters. What you do in 60 minutes each day may seem small today, but when stacked, when repeated, when compounded over weeks, months, and years, it becomes extraordinary. This is the power of consistency, the power of intention, the power of choosing yourself in a world that constantly asks you to choose anything else. Every day, 60 minutes, dedicated to your vision, your skills, your clarity, is 60 minutes that shapes a future that doesn't just happen to you. It is a future you intentionally create. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to step into the rhythm of daily growth. Because transformation doesn't require grand gestures, it requires a choice to show up, to commit, and to use just 60 minutes every single day to craft a life worth living. Every single minute you dedicate to yourself is an investment in your potential. Think about it. 60 minutes a day is 420 minutes a week, 680 minutes a month, over 20,000 minutes a year. That is not a small amount of time. It is enough to change the trajectory of your entire life if used intentionally. Yet, most people don't see it that way. They see 60 minutes as fleeting, disposable, inconsequential. But it is not. It is the building block of habits that define character, of skills that define capability, and of vision that defines destiny. The key is to use those 60 minutes with purpose. What does that mean? It means identifying what matters most to you and directing your attention there. It means asking yourself, if I could only do one thing today that would move me closer to my goals, what would it be? That single-minded focus transforms ordinary time into extraordinary outcomes. You don't need more hours in your day. You need to treat the hours you already have as sacred. And 60 minutes daily is more than enough to start creating a life that reflects your true potential. It's important to recognize that growth is uncomfortable. It will push you out of your comfort zone. It will challenge the narratives you've been telling yourself about what is possible, and it will demand discipline on days when you feel like giving up. This is exactly why so many people avoid it. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you that the status quo is enough. But growth requires showing up when no one is watching. Growth requires doing the work, even when it feels inconvenient, slow, or unrewarding. And that is where 60 minutes becomes revolutionary, because it is a small enough commitment that you can do it consistently, but big enough that it moves you forward every single day. Let me be clear, it is not the duration of the time that matters. It is the intentionality behind it. You could spend 60 minutes scrolling social media, and it would add nothing to your life. But you could spend 60 minutes reading, learning, reflecting, planning, creating, or connecting, and suddenly you are compounding knowledge, confidence, and capability. You are becoming the person who can face challenges with clarity, who can make decisions with courage, who can inspire others by example. You are becoming the person who doesn't wait for opportunity but creates it. Consistency is the secret. Humans underestimate the compounding effect of repeated, deliberate action. 1 hour might not feel like much on a Monday, but by Friday it is 5 hours. By the end of the month it is 24 hours. By the end of the year it is nearly a full month of work devoted entirely to your growth. Imagine where you could be in 3 years, in 5 years, if you committed just 60 minutes each day to something that matters. It is not about being extraordinary in one day. It is about being extraordinary over time. You have to ask yourself, what is the story you want to tell about your life? Do you want to look back and say, I waited for the perfect moment? Or do you want to say, I showed up every day and built the life I wanted? Every choice you make, every minute you invest, sends a message to yourself. It says whether you value your potential, whether you honor your dreams, whether you believe in your ability to create something remarkable. 60 minutes a day is not just time, it is a declaration that you refuse to settle, that you refuse to be passive, that you are committed to becoming the best version of yourself. There will be distractions, there will be excuses. Life will demand your attention in ways that tempt you to postpone growth. But remember this, those who achieve their vision are not the ones who wait for perfect conditions. They are the ones who create conditions that allow growth to flourish. 60 minutes is enough to start. 60 minutes is enough to outpace the competition. 60 minutes is enough to shift your mindset, sharpen your skills, and move from reaction to intention. And perhaps most importantly, 60 minutes a day teaches you about discipline, about resilience, and about self-respect. It teaches you that your time is valuable, that your dreams are worth protecting, and that your future is in your hands. The ripple effects extend far beyond what you do in that hour. It shapes your habits, your mindset, your energy, and your confidence. You begin to notice possibilities you never saw before, opportunities that would have passed unnoticed, and relationships that are strengthened by your clarity and purpose. You have the power to create momentum. Momentum is not accidental, it is earned, one deliberate action at a time. And 60 minutes daily is the engine that fuels it. Start small, stay consistent, and watch as your life begins to reflect the investment you make in yourself. Each day, each hour, Each choice compounds into the reality you have the power to shape. Transformation is not a myth. It is a matter of showing up, of committing, and of dedicating 60 minutes each day to the life you deserve. When you commit 60 minutes each day to intentional growth, you start to see patterns emerge in your own behavior, in your own thinking. You begin to notice the moments when you procrastinate, when you let fear dictate your actions, when you settle for less than you are capable of. Awareness is the first step toward change, and 60 minutes daily provides the space for that awareness to take root. It allows you to pause, reflect, and ask yourself, am I moving toward my goals, or am I letting life happen to me? This simple question, asked consistently, begins to transform your decision making. It shifts you from reacting to creating, from drifting to steering, from hoping to knowing. Imagine the power of stacking those 60-minute sessions over time. Each session is like a brick in the foundation of the life you want to build. Alone, a single brick seems insignificant. But after months and years of consistent effort, you have walls, structures, and a home of your own making, a life that stands solid, built on purpose and deliberate action. That is the hidden force of consistency. It compounds quietly, often unseen, until one day you wake up and realize you are living a life you once only imagined. It's not just about skill, building, or knowledge accumulation, although those are critical. It's about mindset. 60 minutes daily trains your mind to focus, to prioritize, to value what truly matters. It conditions you to resist the lure of distraction and short-term gratification, and instead embrace the discomfort of growth. That discipline spills over into every aspect of your life, your relationships, your career, your health, your creativity. You start to notice that when you dedicate time to yourself, your energy expands, your clarity sharpens, and your confidence grows. You begin to act with intention rather than impulse, to speak with purpose rather than reaction, to lead yourself before you lead others. There will be days when 60 minutes feels impossible. Life will demand your attention in ways that pull you away. You will feel tired, overwhelmed, even doubtful. But it is precisely in those moments that showing up matters most. The choice to dedicate time to yourself when everything else seems urgent is the choice that separates those who achieve their vision from those who remain stuck in routines that lead nowhere. Growth is not about comfort, it is about showing up when it would be easier to step back. It is about persistence, resilience, and a commitment to your future that does not waver in the face of challenge. The beauty of 60 minutes is that it is manageable. You don't need to rearrange your entire life, quit your job, or wait for perfect conditions. You need only a single hour, a commitment to show up, and a willingness to prioritize what matters most. In that time, you can read, reflect, practice, plan, write, or learn. You can listen to ideas that challenge you, engage in exercises that strengthen your mind or body, or create something that expresses your unique vision. The possibilities are endless, and each choice compounds into a life that feels purposeful, deliberate, and extraordinary. It's also about reclaiming control. Too many people drift through life as if their future is predetermined by circumstance, luck, or other people's decisions. 60 minutes a day is a declaration that your future is yours to shape. It is a statement that you will not leave your growth to chance, that you will not outsource your potential to others, that you will take responsibility for the life you live. This is where transformation begins, not in massive dramatic gestures, but in the quiet, persistent daily act of showing up for yourself. And as you continue, you start to see the ripple effects. Your confidence grows because you have proven to yourself that you can commit and follow through. Your clarity grows because you have created space to think deeply about your priorities and your direction. Your resilience grows because you have practiced consistency in the face of challenges. Every 60-minute session reinforces a mindset of ownership, a belief in possibility, and a commitment to excellence. The people who inspire you, the innovators, leaders, and creators who seem to achieve the extraordinary, they didn't get there by accident. They got there by investing in themselves day after day, hour after hour. They understood that greatness is not an event, it is a process. And that process begins with a single choice: to dedicate time consistently to what matters most. 60 minutes is enough, 60 minutes is powerful, 60 minutes is the catalyst for a life transformed. Now, imagine what could happen if you committed to this daily practice not just for a week or a month, but for a year. Think about the knowledge you would acquire, the skills you would master, the habits you would solidify. Picture the person you would become, a person of clarity, focus, and purpose. That is not a distant dream. It is the inevitable result of showing up every day for yourself. Each 60-minute session is a vote for your future. Each session is a step away from mediocrity and toward mastery. Each session builds the life you deserve, and it starts now. When you commit to 60 minutes a day, something remarkable happens. You start to shift from being a passenger in your life to becoming the driver. You gain a sense of agency, a recognition that your choices matter, that your actions create momentum, and that your growth is in your own hands. Most people underestimate the power of consistent, small actions because they are fixated on instant results. But transformation, true transformation, is never instant. It is built in the quiet, invisible hours when no one is watching, when the world doesn't applaud, when the only witness is yourself. These 60 minutes become sacred because they are yours, devoted entirely to your development, and over time, they compound into extraordinary results. Think about it. A single hour each day is 30 minutes less than most people spend commuting, scrolling on social media, or watching content that adds nothing to their lives. Yet, when redirected with intention, that same hour has the potential to expand your mind, sharpen your skills, and strengthen your character. It's not the duration that counts, it's the quality of attention and effort you put into it. When you commit 60 minutes to learning, to reflecting, to planning, or creating, you are consciously choosing to invest in your future. Every minute becomes a seed, and every day a watering of that seed. Over weeks, months, and years, what was once a small investment grows into a life-altering yield. You begin to notice subtle changes in your thinking. Problems that once seemed insurmountable start to appear as challenges you can navigate. Decisions that once felt paralyzing become clearer because you have cultivated the discipline to pause, evaluate, and act. Your mind starts to operate differently because it has been exercised intentionally, trained to focus, and conditioned to value growth. Your confidence grows because you are no longer relying on chance, external validation, or circumstance. You are building competence, and competence breeds confidence. One of the most profound effects of dedicating 60 minutes daily is how it reshapes your perception of time itself. Suddenly, time is no longer something that controls you. It is a resource you manage deliberately. You begin to notice pockets of potential: early mornings, lunch breaks, quiet evenings, moments between meetings. Every small interval can be harnessed if you recognize its value. Time is no longer wasted because you have experienced firsthand what even 60 minutes of deliberate action can accomplish. This awareness becomes transformative because it creates a mindset of abundance, not scarcity, and abundance of time leads to an abundance of opportunity. Another layer of transformation happens in your habits. 60 minutes a day teaches consistency. It teaches patience. It teaches you that results are rarely immediate, but with persistent effort they are inevitable. Habits are the invisible architecture of our lives, and when you dedicate yourself to this daily practice, you start to build a framework for success that supports you even when motivation wanes. Motivation is fleeting, but habit is reliable. By showing up for yourself every day, you are creating a system that carries you forward regardless of external circumstances. You also begin to cultivate resilience. Life is unpredictable. Challenges, setbacks, and disappointments are inevitable. But when you have invested consistently in yourself, you develop the ability to adapt, to respond rather than react, to see setbacks as lessons rather than failures. Each 60 minute session reinforces your capacity to persevere, to maintain clarity under pressure, and to stay aligned with your long-term vision even when short-term obstacles appear. This is the hallmark of people who transform their lives. They do not allow temporary circumstances to dictate their trajectory because they have built internal strength through consistent, deliberate action. 60 minutes daily also amplifies your creativity and problem-solving ability. When you dedicate time to reflection, learning, or creation, your mind begins to connect ideas, generate insights, and see opportunities that others miss. You start to approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. You find solutions faster because you have trained your brain to think expansively, to explore possibilities, and to take action rather than remain stuck. This kind of mental agility is not developed through passive consumption or random activity. It is cultivated deliberately, hour by hour, day by day. Moreover, your relationships begin to benefit indirectly. When you invest in yourself, you bring more clarity, patience, and energy into your interactions. You become a better communicator, a better listener, and a better collaborator. People notice the shift because confidence, purpose, and presence are contagious. By showing up for yourself, you elevate not just your own life, but also the lives of those around you. Every single session matters because each one compounds. Transformation is rarely dramatic overnight. It is the product of repeated, purposeful action. What you do in 60 minutes today might not yield immediate results, but in a month you will notice the difference. In a year, the change will be undeniable. You begin to live proof that the future is not something that happens to you. It is something you create intentionally. And so, the question becomes not whether you have 60 minutes, it is whether you have the courage to claim them. Whether you have the discipline to show up, the clarity to focus, and the commitment to continue even when it feels hard. 60 minutes daily is not just a practice, it is a statement. A statement that you believe in your potential, that you honor your time, and that you refuse to settle for anything less than the life you are capable of creating. It is the single most powerful choice you can make each day to transform your future, to shape your destiny, and to become the person you were meant to be.